Back. Gauteng's Metro Police departments admit corruption is rife within its ranks. They briefed the Provincial Portfolio Committee on Community Safety and Security earlier today. These entities accounted to the committee on their contribution to crime fighting. In Johannesburg, a number of officers have already been dismissed after being found guilty of corruption. Joining me for more is JMPD Acting Chief Angie Mokasi. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Can you talk to us about the crime levels or the levels of corruption within the Metro Police in Gauteng? What kind of crimes are we talking about here, and what kind of numbers are we looking at?
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers. As I think I must submit that as a city of Johannesburg, we are declaring corruption to be enemy number one. Our Metro Police, we have internal affairs that is dealing with day-to-day complaints by members of the public, and we're dealing with issues around extortion, kidnapping, and bribery and corruption.
Do you think the problem lies with the vetting and the training of officers? Because we've got to find the source of the problem to be able to eradicate it.
Look, when we employing Johannesburg Metro Police officers, we do go through the process of vetting each individual. However, because it's a lengthy process, it tends to return once the people have been employed into the system. However, that does not even prohibit us from dismissing the employees, because one of our requirements is for people to declare that if they do indeed have criminal records, and if they had criminal records, if they indeed had amnesty. But we have found that the previous intake, when we insource security personnel, people did not were not truthful to when they applied for employment, and upon the return of the criminal reports, we found out that we had employed people that are having criminal cases ranging from murder, corruption, including rape. So all those security employees, they were indeed dismissed. And in our Metro Police officers, the same process is happening. In fact, last year we went through a process of vetting our own Metro Police officers. So we are currently conducting that process. We are not done. It's a lengthy process. However, if we are found to have had employed people, or we have employees that are having criminal records, then we take the process of with internal affairs, so that the employees can account to the city whether they had criminal records prior or they had those criminal records while they were in the system, and a disciplinary process are taken, and they are indeed, if they are found to have been guilty, then they are indeed dismissed from the employment.
The culture within an organization often filters down from the top. Are top structures of the JMPD willing to accept responsibility so that the situation can be addressed?
We are taking full responsibility, hence we have invested a lot of resources in internal affairs, and actually currently the city is taking a process of purchasing body cameras that will actually assist or eradicate the issues that revolve around the corruption. So we're hoping that once we're having body cameras, they will assist us to fight corruption. They'll actually protect our officers and also protect the members of the public. So we're looking forward to that process of purchasing the body cameras, because we think it will also eradicate corruption.
Since you've started addressing the issue of crime within the organization, how many members have been dismissed?
For this financial year, which started last year, 2022, July, to date, we have dismissed 6 police officers.
I can imagine that the process does not happen overnight. Perhaps in the case where you can identify that someone has lied about having a criminal record, that kind of dismissal process could happen quite quickly. But in other cases, where there's extortion or fraud or complaints from the public, those need to be investigated and procedures need to be followed meticulously. But in the interim, communities like Diepsloot that we saw on the news tonight are in desperate need of better crime prevention. We see traffic-related crimes on the rise. Bylaw enforcement is in shambles. It's an untenable situation, and the residents of these metros suffer as a result. Is there any way to fast-track the process?
Look, there are no shortcuts to these investigations. We need to follow the right procedures and make sure that we do justice in terms of the dismissal process. When it comes to issues around fighting crime within the city, like I indicated, the city is also investing a lot of money. We are also trying to put cameras across the city. Currently we are on 52% functional mode of our cameras. However, we are anticipating that by the end of August, we would have 100% functional cameras that will be able to assist us to fight crime in the city of Johannesburg.
So today you briefed the Provincial Portfolio Committee on Community Safety and Security. How was your briefing received by the committee?
Look, the committee, we were actually rattled as Metro Police Department, including our PC, the Provincial Commissioner also rattled us. However, we committed that we will then look into improving, coming up with better strategies to fight crime within the city, within the three metro police, which is Tshwane, Johannesburg, and Ekurhuleni. We have made such commitments, and what is nice about this, we had our political leadership in attendance who also committed in supporting us in terms of resources. Because look, when you look into Johannesburg, we're only having plus minus 3,600 metro police officers. And a rhetorical question is that enough for us to be able to service the city? We don't even have enough dogs to be able to fight the issues that relate to drugs. So the city is currently also taking those things into consideration and making sure that there is a budget available for us to make sure that they support us in terms of fighting crime and making the city safe.
You mentioned political leadership. Could you expand on that?
Our MMC of Public Safety from the city of Johannesburg was in attendance during the session, and he understood what is it that is expected from us, and he also made that commitment in terms of supporting us and understanding that what is it that we need to do. Look, we cannot fight crime alone as Metro Police. We also need to look into other city entities. You know, there is a crime fighting model, which is a fighting crime through environmental design, where as a city there needs to be a commitment that there need to be street lighting, because in the absence of street lighting, in the absence of making sure that the trees and the grasses are cut, we have created an opportunity for criminals to commit crime. And the issue of increasing the cameras in the city will also serve as a deterrent, making sure that we increase the level of compliance and making sure that people they know that there is a likelihood of them being arrested when they commit crime, because we have eyes in the sky.
So the Metro Police, they have a completely different mandate from the SAPS. And as the Metro Police, you're very reliant on cooperation and support from other local government departments. For instance, in terms of enforcing some of the bylaws, you need the support of the Department of Economics, Trade and Industry. You need the support of the Department of Home Affairs. So all of these departments need to support you in your functions. We know there have been a lot of local government shifts, both in Johannesburg and in Tshwane and in Ekurhuleni. Does that impact the JMPD's ability to do your work effectively?
Not necessarily. We try by all means to stay away from politics. Whenever political office changes, we have, as JMPD, we have taken the stance that it should not affect our job. As much as and when a new political leadership takes over, obviously there is a change in terms of mandate. However, we don't stop working. We still continue to do as per our mandate, that is traffic management, crime prevention, including by law enforcement.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. That was JMPD Acting Chief Angie Mokasi.